What's good, listeners? Welcome to the Chris College Show, Millennial Talk Show. Good morning, Marissa. How's it going, fam?
It's going fabulous.
Right? It's a beautiful day. It's finally getting cold in Southern California. It's December 10th. That's the day it finally started to freeze. The winter finally came. But hey, we always love to do this at the top of the show because on this day in 1964, Martin Luther King Jr. received his Nobel Peace Prize, and also on this day in 1997, Eminem released the Slim Shady EP, which is what put him on the map with Dr. Dre and Jimmy. And we've got a great show for everybody out there tuning in live on the Chris Collins Show Millennial Talk Show YouTube channel. Our guest on Just Talking is comedian Marcus Hawkins with a Christmas comedy special, because all I want for Christmas is more wokeness. And also, our Strike a Chord guest is Animal Sun, returning to debut their brand new song. And you guys are in for a treat because we have the music video as well. And also, don't forget to check out our brand new podcast series, Off the Fret, featuring Royals as our second guest. It's more music talk. All right, Marissa, it's time to rock and roll. This is hashtag TLDR, too long, don't read. Marissa and I, we did all the reading for you, so you didn't have to do it. In an article from The Verge titled, "The Biggest News and Trailers from the 2021 Game Awards" by Andrew Webster. It's that time of the year, the Game Awards, a 3-hour-long event where the awards take backstage to trailers and reveals. This year's show was a busy one, with news covering everything from Star Wars and The Expanse to Halo to Among Us. And we even got a new Alan Wake, and also Sting was there. With this year's winner for Game of the Year, last week's guest, Ubisoft's Dan Mitri, guessed correctly that the acclaimed co-op It Takes Two will take home the grand prize. And other notable wins from the Game Awards included Guardians of the Galaxy taking Best Narrative, Deathloop winning Best Direction, and Metroid Dread scoring Best Action Adventure Game. And as you would expect from the Game Awards, there were plenty of big announcements too. We have a new Star Trek title, Epic's debut of The Matrix using Unreal Engine 5, and the new Wonder Woman and Dune will be having their own games. That's pretty exciting. So listeners, if you couldn't catch the show live, you're in for a treat. It's still available online, so you can check it out. The Game Awards 2021 is available to watch on YouTube today.
Oh wait, you gotta be able to see me.
Are you already mispronouncing it?
No, it is supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
There we go.
And that is no longer the hardest word to pronounce.
That's right.
In an article from BBC News titled "Eilish," I just spread that totally wrong. Eilish, Chugi, and Omicron among 2021's most mispronounced words by staff writers. And the survey was compiled by the U.S. captioning company, which provides subtitles for live events on TV and in courtrooms. They found Omicron had proven especially challenging. The new COVID variant, named after the Greek letter O, is supposed to be pronounced Omicron. But a lot of politicians did not get that no, and due to so many world leaders and news reporters saying the word wrong, pronunciation police experts are taking a page out of the Millennial Handbook of Who Gives a Fuck and are now allowing various ways for Omicron to be pronounced, such as Omicron. And sorry, Biden, because you got to hear this one real quickly about how he likes to say it.
It's called the Omicron. The Omicron variant, the face the Omicron variant.
I'm not gonna lie.
There's no N. There isn't. He added a letter when there was no N at all.
No, you're absolutely correct, Marissa, and I can't use our POTUS as the excuse for my own reasoning because I've been saying it exactly the same way Uncle Joe has been saying it this entire time. So if out of all the 2021 mispronounced words, I'd probably say it's this new damn variant. And my only excuse for not knowing is I totally want to forget about this whole COVID nonsense. So please, people, get the jab so we can go back to normal and we can not keep going down this Greek alphabet that we're continuing to thrive with this whole variant.
I absolutely love that you added like an N into the word with our POTUS. That is awesome. And I'm going to give you kudos for owning up to that.
I have to. Okay. It's real, fam.
Besides Omicron, what word in 2021 has been especially difficult for you?
It's always a last name. And I don't know if it's necessarily on this. I probably, many of the listening audience can probably already think of a word that I've already butchered from past guests already joining us just from 2021 alone. That's always my biggest fear. I can't think of one on the top of my head, Marissa, but I do laugh that, some people had a hard time with Dogecoin. I always thought that was pretty self-explanatory, but I'm assuming that was meant for the baby boomers having a hard time just trying to punctuate.
I actually agree with that. I know for myself, I've actually changed like my daughter's last name. I've changed it to, it's supposed to be Sussel. And I was like, that's a horrible last name. So I changed her last name to Suzelle. So even I am
You're having a hard time with
changing a word for how it sounds, along with the tight end, Travis Kelce.
Yeah, Kelsey.
How you're supposed to say it, but I found out his dad changed it to Kelsey, so we actually are pronouncing it correctly because his dad did the same thing I did and decided to change the correct spelling.
I wonder if that was like a family last name trying to combine last names together.
What he said was he got tired of correcting people growing up because they would always say Kelsey, and he was like, no, it's Kels. It's Kels. And he got tired of doing it, so he just decided to roll with it. And then his kids grew up saying Kelsey also.
Fascinating. That's all I have to say.
Well, Dogecoin, as you said, Chipotle. This one is my hardest one.
Yeah. I'm not even going to try. You're going to have to do
ready?
it.
So Stefanos is easy. It's the last name. It's CC Pus. That PS kills me.
I would have never pronounced it like that, so you're doing way better than me. Yeah, but that's how you pronounce
it, so that one was my downfall. And then also the Scottish city, Glasgow, also make the list of the most mispronounced words.
So I'm always saying Glasgow. What's the right one?
It's with a Z, Glasgow.
See? We keep it American. This list is for Americans.
You gotta watch some more European football.
Right. In an article from Variety titled, Drake withdraws his 2022 Grammy nominations by Jem Oswald. So Drake has withdrawn his 2022 Grammy nominations, although his motivation is unclear. Drake was one of the 5 nominees for Best Rap Album for Certified Lover Boy and for Best Rap Performance for his song Way Too Sexy featuring Future and Young Thug. And rather than giving the nomination to the recipient of the 6 most votes, as the Academy has done in the past, the voting for those 2 categories will go forward with just 4 nominees because Drake chose to withdraw from the Grammys the day the voting period began. And I can't help but wonder, why doesn't the Grammys have a contractual arrangement with artists to accept a nomination prior to the announcement? I mean, I think it's kind of crazy. I mean, everybody's kind of saying, oh, maybe he pulled out because he's kind of worried about the lawsuit, involved with Astroworld and Travis Scott. Obviously not if he just performed last night for the free Larry Hoover event with Kanye West. So please, that's not the main reason that he's doing it. My prediction, Marissa, that I'm thinking that he's doing is because he's really salty and petty that he didn't get nominated for Album of the Year. So how does he do it? He does something that's unprecedented, I don't think ever happened in the whole music awards show history, and he's refusing to even have his name listed among the rest of these phenomenal artists.
I agree. I think you hit it spot on. It's nothing to the lawsuit. He's got so much money. He rented out Dodger Stadium to have a dinner with his booty call. Okay, he does not care about the money. It truly is about a slap in the Grammy's face. And I actually agree with you, Chris. I think there should be a contractual clause in there because remember, these artists, their managers or their publicists, they are the ones that actually submit the nomination. And so if you're going to submit it, then obviously you want it. So then why would you do the clap back right away? So
Right.
I'm with you. I'm with you on this one where it should be a clause. An artist, if they're going to submit it, they got to accept it.
You got to accept it. And overall, the Grammy nominations must be submitted by a representative, just like how Marissa was stating, and usually the artist record label. And if an artist does not want their music to be considered, think about The Weeknd last year, the label will simply won't submit it. But the decision to remove a nomination at this late of the stage, this late in the game, I mean, after it has been submitted and announced, let alone on the day the ballots are posted, may be the most unprecedented act to happen in Grammy history. What's good, listeners? All I want for Christmas is more wokeness. Our guest returning live on the Chris College Show, Millennial Talk Show, for Just Talking is comedian Marcus Hawkins, and we're in for a treat. You know how many times we've had him on? Probably like 3-4 times now. And the lovely man himself, he's a working man. He's a hard man. He's a hard worker. We love him. He's connecting his audio. He's doing his thing.
Yay.
He's joining us while he's on the move. And we have something very special at the top of the show. So Marissa, we might as well cue the music. Are you ready? Are you ready, CCS family? Let's get it. The one and only comedian Marcus Hawkins.
Whoa, ho, 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 ho. That was great.
So what's up? How you doing? Everything good?
Yeah, you know me reporting live from the driver's seat of the car.
Hey, that's what's up.
Do you live in your car? Because every time I see you, you're in your car.
No, it's just I'm at work, so you know how it is.
Well, Marcus, you probably have never been asked this before, especially at the top of the show while you're in your car. But we kind of thought it'd be kind of some fun because, the listening audience has been getting to know you over the years, especially when we're on our third year now with the Chris College Show Millennial Talk Show. And we kind of thought it'd be kind of some fun if you can kind of give us a little bit of stand-up, kind of entice the listening audience about what Marcus Hawkins is all about and what we can anticipate in those comedy improv. So are you ready?
About as ready as I'm going to be. There's no microphone or anything.
Hey, don't worry about it. You're in the metaverse now, baby. Let's get it.
No comedy. Here we go. Yes. Yeah. So just to give y'all a little snippet of what y'all can see live on stage, I'll give y'all a little bit of jokes right now. So, what's your biggest fear?
My biggest fear?
Mm-hmm.
Butchering people's last names.
Okay. We gonna mess up people's last names because I'm not even good at English and that's my first language. So
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Spiders.
That's facts.
Spiders.
I always share my biggest fear with people because I feel like it brings me closer and people get a better understanding. My biggest fear is losing any one of my front teeth. That terrifies me. Yeah, because the main thing is like, I put it together. If you don't have no teeth, you don't have no happiness. You missing any front teeth, you aren't gonna be smiling all freely like ha ha ha. You gotta hide your laugh like ho. And then people give you messed up nicknames when you missing the front tooth. Snag-a-tooth, Gumby, Wheezy, because you make that weird wheezing sound while you breathing. But the main reason it really terrified me, because like I said, people are quick to judge. Like in the Black community, if you losing any one of your front teeth, you smoke crack automatically.
Automatically?
Is that the truth?
Don't nobody ask no other questions like, did your tooth ever grow in? Were you in a bad fight? Did you slip and fall? No. You smoke crack and I can't trust you, because if you couldn't manage to keep your teeth, you can't manage to keep any of my stuff. So.
Oh. Damn.
And then another thing, in the white community, if you miss any of your front teeth, you smoke meth. You're automatically a meth head. So
that is very true. Go to any 7-Eleven and there's a bunch of meth heads out there.
Yeah. And people people quick to judge. You know, some of the sweetest people might be missing their front teeth, but we judge them. I judge people if they missing their front teeth. I can't trust you. Like I said, you couldn't maintain your front teeth. You can't maintain me. So,
So you wouldn't date a girl with missing front teeth?
no, that's not attractive.
Yeah,
But,
she got.
but it'll allow you to gum it a little easier.
Oh.
Woo!
I tend to think that gumming thing is overrated because have you ever been bit by a baby with no teeth? That shit hurts. It's still a pinch. Gums aren't soft. Gums are hard.
Hey, he ain't wrong. He ain't wrong.
Gums are hard.
No, I feel, you know, this kind of stuff from comedian Marcus Hawkins, you can definitely see him all the time. Yeah, right? You hear the crowd. You hear the metaverse. The metaverse is screaming for more comedy from Marcus Hawkins himself. And Marcus, let's get right on into it because obviously, you know, all I want for Christmas is more wokeness. But then again, like, why is woke comedy so unfunny?
Woke comedy, it's unfunny because people just giving people what they want. It's like people tiptoeing around people instead of just, like I always tell you, comedy's the truth. And when you try to like fix the truth or put lipstick on a pig, it just doesn't come out right. So
yeah, I mean, but Marcus, it feels like comedians today are the ones who fuel the cancel culture by giving into the wokeness. And like, I don't know about you, Marcus, but like, where did this come from where we can't have a laugh? I mean, I believe that this has not become just an American problem. It has become a worldwide problem. What's your thoughts on all this?
Remember when I used to give kids participation points for trophies?
Yes. I love them.
Those kids have turned into adults. So you feel entitled that you're always supposed to get something. And people so sensitive now. We can't say nothing no more.
So you're not worried about the baby boomers. You're worried more about the next generation rising up, not necessarily the Gen Zers.
Yeah, because the baby boomers, they already been used to talking reckless and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
It locker room talk. You know, that's what the baby boomers call it. It's locker room talk.
But have you noticed?
That's harsh. That's mean. You can't say that.
But have you noticed returning to the stage anything different when you present new material?
I watch other people present new material and they kind of tiptoe around it. Me, I'm gonna give it to you straight full because I'm not being myself. I feel like I'm cheating everybody if I'm not telling the truth or just giving you what you need, not what you want, but what you need. That's what I give you.
And that's so great that you just referenced that right now, Marcus, because as we were getting ready to bring you back on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show, we literally had this conversation like 6 months ago. And as I was watching, you know, Dave Chappelle's now controversial special called The Closer, which ignited a firestorm for jokes, you know, targeting trans people in the LGBTQ plus community. Last I recall, Marcus, you had a lot of the same jokes that Dave Chappelle shared way before the stand-up came out. So I feel like you should be canceled. Nah, I'm just playing.
No!
But you get where I'm coming from. I'm just teasing. But you get what I'm saying. It's crazy, like how you guessed this 6 months ago, and now it's all coming into fruition. And a couple weeks ago, Chappelle did a surprise set at his alma mater, Duke Ellington School for the Arts, and got an earful of woke from triggered teens that you're talking about, with comments such as, "Your comedy kills," "I'm 16 and I think you're childish," to the quote, "harsh N-word are killed every day." These are things that were being shouted out at Dave Chappelle as he was performing at his alma mater. So Marcus, these teens must realize that you can't have a double standard when it comes to words. Like we've been tackling in comedy, words has been the most talked about conversation today, especially like the N-word, which has a terrible history for centuries. So why has Dave Chappelle become the target? Because it's almost like he's embracing the backlash when he says, if this is what it's like being canceled, I love it. What's your thoughts?
Main reason he embracing it because when they say you go at the king, you better not miss. Plain and simple. And then these kids talking about this stuff, they haven't lived through nothing. You 16.
Right.
You're sick. You wasn't even born for 9/11, bro. Shut up.
That's true.
That's true. But isn't that kind of funny how you could be calling him a bigot and a racist and all that kind of things, but it's always so targeted, like so specific targeted when it comes to comedy. It's like anytime you make any kind of joke about the LGBTQ plus community or trans people, like the last I recall in the special, he was talking about how he praised the movement for moving a lot quicker instead of what's not happening for Black Americans today.
And then like I told you, people don't even listen because in the stand-up he tell you, I don't have problems with transgender. I have problems with the white people. It's like nothing, but people totally miss that part. And it's like we got selective hearing. You know, we hear what we want to hear. We take from stuff what we want to take from it. And when we feel offended by something, that's when we want to throw it all out.
And you know what? This is TikTok and even YouTube's issue, because most of these people did not watch his stand-up all the way through, because he specifically said, hey, I'll sit down at the table, but you need to watch my stand-up from the start to the last end credit so you can understand the context of these jokes. And they didn't do it, because I watched it and he made fun of everybody. Period. Right. And one of his best friends is a trans woman who committed suicide. And that was a tribute he put towards her.
Mm-hmm. And the main reason she committed suicide is because her own people, the trans people, was the ones bullying her. Yep. It wasn't the straight heterosexual people. It's the trans people. Like I told Chris yesterday, they can dish it, but they can't take it. Like they got mad at Michael Myers for killing 2 gay dudes in the movie.
Yeah, that's right. Halloween Kills. I remember hearing about that.
That's true. Halloween got canceled.
Halloween even it felt the woke barrage.
For the longest, as the Black community, we used to celebrate when at least we were the last one killed, or we made it through a horror movie. Because before,
wait, you guys make it through a horror movie?
Wait, I totally forgot.
Wait, what
Marcus
movie
makes
do you
it to
make
the
it
end.
LL Cool J and Halloween H2O.
Okay. All right, snap.
LL Cool J, because when he didn't die in the movie, I was like, what? They did kill LL Cool J?
Well, it is LL Cool J. You cannot kill that man. He is still fine as...
But it's almost like they're getting to the point now where it's like, yeah, you know, if we're targeting certain words, like, I mean, we used to joke last year, you know, what if they had a show called Whitish instead of Blackish? Now I feel like 10 years from now, we're going to be critiquing that show Blackish for, quote, bringing in African-American tropes to the mix, when this is actually just celebrating Black culture and Black lives in America. We
have a show called Whitish. It's called Married with Children.
You're right. Good one. I like that. That was funny, Bruce. But Marcus...
I was going to say Duck Hunters.
Yeah, right. That's pretty much true. Or the Home and Garden TV show that has plenty of reality shows on there.
I love Home and Garden, bro.
Yeah.
Catch me on
but Marcus, let's switch gears, because I want to talk to you about why comedians are choosing to blacklist themselves. Because, for example, British comedy icon John Cleese last month pulled out from a planned appearance at his alma mater, Cambridge University, writing the following tweet. And we have an image for anybody that's tuning in live on our YouTube channel. But the tweet reads, I was looking forward to talking to students at the Cambridge Union this Friday, but I hear that someone there has been blacklisted for doing an impersonation of Hitler. I regret that I did the same on a Monty Python show, so I am blacklisting myself before someone else does. So how does this help the future of comedy and freedom of speech when we allow woke staff and students to dictate the narrative?
It's like 2 parts to it. One, for like a comic, one of the main tricks in comedy, if I could clown myself, ain't nothing you can do that's gonna hurt me. If I'm already talking about myself, nothing you can say. And then the second part is, okay, we're going to give you all the stuff that you asked for. And then when you realize how boring it is and everything, then you'll beg for us to come back, and then you'll want some real content. So we'll keep it watered down for you. We'll give you what you asked for. Then you're going to realize, like, this is not what I want.
But you're noticing at these universities, I mean, we've always laughed about it for years. I mean, even my 7 years in college, I mean, it seemed like, you know, safe spaces were the kind of the words that we were using. And now with these safe spaces, it always creates these like Q&A conversations, less about the jokes and more about the understanding of inside of a joke, if you know what I'm saying. And John Cleese also said, quote, in the last few years, I've realized that comedy is more important than I thought. Really? Like, I thought it was a place to escape, not a safe space. You get what I'm saying, Marcus? So, like,
Yeah.
do you agree with this notion?
Yeah, I do, because we the only people that's telling the truth. Like I said, you go talk to politicians and stuff, you know that they lying. You know that politicians lying. Well, I
So
can't
that's
trust
why
this
they're getting
person.
so butthurt, because you guys are actually spewing the facts instead of dancing around.
Yeah, comedians are straight shooters, and like I said, the truth gonna set you free, and the truth hurts. And when we up there telling the truth, like Dave Chappelle telling the truth to the transgender people, letting them know that gender matters. They don't want to hear that, because they want to be called him, he, her, us, they. No, you as a boy, you as a girl, you can't change. Well, I guess you can change your gender, but it does matter.
No,
So,
that's actually funny that you say that, because a lot of these like preferred pronouns that we hear about, like one, I never even knew that we actually had an International Pronouns Day until this year. But like also second, you don't actually hear anybody having those kind of conversations in person. Like I can't wait until we're actually back in the workforce together, like everybody, and see if those kind of conversations continue to thrive, because I have a hard time believing that that's going to happen. But but yeah, go ahead.
Now, and we have an associate that already told people I want to be referred to as they and them when you like referencing me. Hey, they, come here. Hey, them, can you help me over here? No.
Right. I mean, it's definitely one of those tricky situations. And I mean, you even kind of spotted it right at the top of this talking point where, like, you know, why do you wonder why you go and see some of these latest bits of comedy, or let's say television and film, and why are they so boring? And funny enough, back in May, Marcus, Donald Glover noticed social media discussions from people who were, quote, tired of reviewing boring stuff like television and film, and claimed the fault lies with creators being scared of being canceled. And funny enough, Donald Glover himself feared the woke mob, and he quickly deleted a series of tweets, but luckily, thanks to Daily Mail for keeping the receipts, he wrote the following, and we're going to show the visual up for everybody that's tuning in live on the Chris Collins Show Millennial Talk Show. But the tweet reads, "We're getting boring stuff and not even experimental mistakes, ? Because people are afraid of getting canceled." I think he has a point. I mean, who's going to push the boundaries? Will it be you, Marcus?
Yeah, I'll push them, because the main thing you got to think, that's where we got today. You got to step out. You got to step out on a limb and step out on faith, and you got to push that envelope, because if we all stay plain vanilla, it's going to be Pleasantville. Nobody likes that.
Yeah, and I just think it's kind of funny how, you know, this whole targeted mob is very selective. And you know what I find hysterical is how the woke mob doesn't have a clue that comedians such as Louis C.K. and Kevin Hart have been nominated by the Grammys for Best Comedy Album. And remember now, listeners, Louis C.K. is the man who admitted to multiple acts of sexual misconduct in 2017. He quietly released an album this year, and Kevin Hart, who posted a series of his old homophobic tweets a decade ago, felt the pressure to walk away from his hosting gig at the Oscars. So, Marcus, like, could you imagine, like, I just had this funny idea when I was talking with my producer, Marissa, about this. It's like, could you imagine having a Best Comedy Album nominated for Album of the Year at the Grammys? Like, how funny would that be if, like, you just heard, like, and this year's nominees are Billie Eilish, Taylor Swift, Drake. Oh, wait, excuse me. Drake has since revoked his nomination, and Louis C.K. has taken his place. Like, how funny would that be? So, like, what kind of peer jury is reviewing Best Comedy Album anyways? I mean, what's your thoughts on all this, Marcus?
Shit, it's probably a bunch of old people. Ain't nobody young on that panel at all. So it's probably
that's what's so funny. It's like, well, duh, it's old people. I mean, we've kind of done this kind of investigative, you know, reporting live on the Chris Collins Show, where we've noticed out that, hey, there is a zero age demographic that's being represented when it comes to the Oscars and the Grammys. So when you see that, along with people who specialize in music judging jokes, don't you kind of see that being a problem, or do you think it's kind of a little hypocritical that's even in the mix to begin with?
Yeah, it's totally hypocritical. Totally. Just like, speaking of hypocritical, like that one lady who, the writer, Arthur or something, where she...
From Harry Potter?
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
The lady that accused the guy of raping her, like like years
Oh
ago.
yeah, and he spent all 16 years in prison, and she had the wrong guy.
Ooh.
And now she got something that's coming out next week, but ain't nobody bringing that up. Like, it's no big deal.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I find it when I was referencing with you earlier in this interview, it's like, it's weird how certain comedians like Dave Chappelle get targeted. I mean, we even saw it with Chris Rock. I mean, obviously someone like a Louis C.K. should be targeted. I mean, but it seems like people are less like targeting these comedians for what they do in their personal lives.
I don't know if he should be targeted as far as having his own. Because the thing is, like, who he is.
Yeah, his personal life compared to not his jokes
should be gone through either police or his own lawsuit. But like, who his is his jokes? Like, I don't listen to CK personally. I don't find him funny. You know what I mean? But that's why I'm against cancel culture, saying, "Oh, how you are, then nobody should listen to you."
Absolutely.
Like, as a woman, he should go to jail or have whatever his issues are.
Or due process. I mean, I think that's the beautiful thing about America. Due process, right? But you should be judged for your personality. But why are we comparing comedians like politicians today? Just because you stand on that grand stage and you rock a mic? Like, I mean, last I recall, anybody can do it.
Now, anybody can't do it, but anybody with a microphone in their hand, people seem to glorify you. When you on stage in front of people, because back to the fear thing, one of people's biggest fears is speaking in front of a crowd. So if I'm over here controlling the crowd, you're in awe to me, like, wow, this guy's amazing. He should watch his words, because people, they feel literally listen to you when you up on that stage. So they want you to be cautious of what you say, because for some reason they think Dave Chappelle fans is out here like trans bashing people. We don't care about y'all.
Right. And the thing is, it's not just comedians that are feeling this pressure. I mean, it is the month of December, which means it's the holiday season, and that hasn't stopped the woke barrage from shitting all over classic Christmas films. So now actors and actresses are starting to feel the heat, and some of the criticism that's been mounting over staples like Richard Curtis's Love Actually, Jack Black's The Holiday, and It's a Wonderful Life, with women's lifestyle site Refinery29 taking the festive films apart and lambasting the toxic male characters. So, like, for example, Love Actually is not only fat phobic, it's also sexist, Refinery29 is saying. Jack Black's charming character behaves like a dangerous sociopath throughout, and It's a Wonderful Life is extremely misogynistic. I feel like it's just, like, it's too easy to just place a word on top of these titles. And now it just kind of creates, like, this void of, like, why are we having a bunch of snowflakes now? Like, you know, what happened to just turning it off if you don't like it?
Because people ain't got happiness and they ain't got nothing to do. If you got something to do and keep you busy and you ain't got time to be complaining about stuff, remember when, like, our moms would be complaining about stuff and start questioning stuff, then our dads would just grab them and take them away?
Right. Yeah, right. Like, who's playing on the PlayStation 4 today? No, it's my turn. He had it out. No, nobody's playing it today.
Yeah, so,
you know?
like the dad will come and take your mom away when she's asking all these questions. These people need somebody to come take them away when it's like, what do you mean by that? Oh, you know how I feel? Like, come with me. Get on out of here.
But this just feels like very, like, blah and very generic. Like, what does that even mean when you say, like, fat phobic and sexist? You know, it's like, what's next? Like, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is encouraging childhood obesity?
Oh no,
like,
they actually tried to
dumb.
cancel. No, they've tried to cancel Charlie and the Chocolate Factory for the Pygmies, because they were going against African people and making them like little colored stuff. So that was already tried to have been canceled and failed.
But who thought that when they watched these films? Do you, Marcus?
No,
Professors.
I was wondering who the hell was eating and killing the Oompa Loompas.
Right. I think that's what most kids are thinking. They're not thinking about what the real skin color behind the Oompa Loompa is.
What is that monster that is eating the poor Oompa Loompa?
Against their will. Oh, no.
No, it's crazy. But you know what? As we're kind of like talking about some of this kind of fun, you know, kind of Christmas films, there has been kind of some of these rumors being discussed that, you know, Will Ferrell was asked to do an Elves 2. He turned it down supposedly for a $29 million offer. I don't know too many people that did that. I know that there was one gentleman that was suggesting a Black Elf. Real quickly, Marcus, are you in favor of that or not?
Hell no.
Why? Why no Black Elf? I'm all down for a Black Elf.
I'm kind of with Marcus. I feel like Will Ferrell was Elf.
A Black Elf ain't nothing but a modified slave. We passed that.
Damn.
Oh, I was just put in my place.
Damn.
In my place. Wow.
You heard it first from.
You're still working for a white man.
With no breaks, no overtime,
no breaks, no days off.
No.
Even when Christmas Day is over, you got to start working the next year. Marcus Hawkins.
Wow, I was just put in my place real quickly on that one. Thank you,
But
Marcus.
hey, Marcus Hawkins, it's been amazing always to have you join us live on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show. Much love, man, and we will see you around most likely in the new year, brother.
Thanks, Marcus. Ciao.
Y'all welcome.
Peace.
Peace.
What's good, listeners? Returning live on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show, is singer-songwriter Steve Blake from Animal Sun. Also, check out our second installment of our brand new podcast series, Off the Fret, featuring UK pop-punk band Royals. More music talk, out now wherever you listen to podcasts. And we got the one and only Steve Blake with us. How's it going, my man?
What's up, my dude?
What's up?
Hey, Steve. Hi. I like the hair.
Yeah, look at the hair. The hair doesn't go away. Look at
always.
Fuck.
See, how do you're in LA right now, right?
Yeah.
How in the world are you rocking this nice white coat? Like, aren't you afraid you're gonna damper that thing down just a little bit? It's starting to rain. It's getting cold now.
I'm like a little bit like out of LA right now because I'm like on the way like towards Santa Clarita. So it's a leather jacket.
Oh, so you wanted to style and profile and just let everybody know what's good. Okay, I see you, Steven. It's all good, but it's so good to see you again, brother. And I know Marissa and I were excited that when you reached out to us last week to give us an early listen of your brand new single from Animal Sun, it's called Safe Not Sound. And my first reaction, Steve, was you look a lot like Marlon Brando. Especially in this latest music video, because is Animal Sun bringing back the eyeliner in 2022?
Of course, man. The music video actually drops in 1 hour. It premieres on our YouTube channel. We got some cool write-ups coming next week, like rock sound and whatnot. But
nice.
I think for this,
you still avoided my question though. Are you bringing back the eyeliner in 2022? That's the real question.
Are you coming to the almost sold out show tomorrow?
You know what? I was hoping. I'm still trying to make that happen, but you still are not answering my question. I'm sorry. I will wear heavy eyeliner if I can make it to the show tomorrow. It's not a guarantee, but is that something that Animal Sun's rocking in 2022?
If you come to the show tomorrow, your answers will be.
I love it.
Okay, fair enough. But Safe Not Sound doesn't sound like anything from your guys' last album, Echoes of a Dream, giving me Muse vibes with your super massive guitar riffs. I mean, it really kicks in right at the start of the track. So what can the listening audience anticipate with this new record?
We're kind of decided to take some of the darker, heavier elements of the last album, like, on parts of Can You Hear the Thunder, and just explore that. Some of the album does have that very retro 80s pop that you guys are used to hearing at this point from us, but like we wanted to push the boundary, especially with the live show. Like since we, did that first tour for that record this past fall, one of the reactions we got was this record. I mean, we love the album, but listening to it live is like a whole different experience. Like, when we play live, they're pop tunes, but we play them like they're rock tunes. So people like get into it more. People that really aren't fans of this style of music tend to like it because of how we perform it live. So we took that into account when making this last album. And it's we're about 9 songs in. We're supposed to finish the 10th today, and that will finish the album.
That is so cool that we get to talk to you while you're in this creative process now. And I know that I was diving deep into the lyrical content of this latest single, Safe Not Sound, and you sing the following. So you don't have to notice me for now because I'll keep coming around. You're safe, but not sound. There's nothing in this town if no one's ever found. So here's to hoping soon you'll have to leave alone. damn, like you said right at the top, you know, it's incredibly dark. I mean, myself personally, it kind of sounded like you guys were talking about some of your experience behind the scenes with the music industry, or it could be something totally off base. So what's the story behind Safe Not Sound?
Well, I mean, you're not totally wrong. Safe Not Sound. So this record, which I'll just tell you the name of it now, is called Generation Waiting.
Let's go.
And it's about a group of people, or generation, if you will, but it's not really singled out to like, oh, it's just about Gen Z or whatever, right? It's kind of a group of people that are always waiting for the next thing, always waiting for the I made it moment, for the aha moment, waiting, you know, they're never present. They're always looking towards that next thing. And it's keeping us in a perpetual state of wanting more and unhappiness, right? So Generation Waiting is this group of people because of how we were, you know, brought up with the digital age and all of these things that it affected our ability to, you know, be present, be in the moment. And now we're just waiting for that next thing. We're like, oh, I made it here. Well, now I want this thing. I'm waiting for that, right? So these group of people, we're exploring all of these themes. Okay, who is Generation Waiting? Most of them is, you know, Gen Z, Millennial, but like there are people from every generation where they're never satisfied, right?
Right, like when you're finally in that position.
X-Gen. No, that was like the X-Gen started that. Like never satisfied with what it is, and then we stole it, and now Z-Gen's stealing it.
Well, also with like what Steven's bringing up, it's like it's really getting enhanced now, especially with this digital technology. And I say, let's just let the music speak for itself. It's an amazing track. We're honored to be able to showcase this an hour before it starts to premiere for the rest of the Animal Sun fans. But you're in for a treat, CCS family, because we have it right now. We're playing the brand new music video, Safe Not Sound, live on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show.
Lonely, lost little lamb that no one understands, seems to always hide at the edge of the room. Self-sequential plans with diabolical lens. You'll just keep on laughing it all away as I consume. You don't have to notice me for now, 'cause I'll keep coming round. You know you're safe but not at the same. There's nothing in this town if no one's ever found. So here's to hoping soon you'll have to leave alone. Selfish cold little lamb, nothing knows no end. Watch you bleed as if I care. So take your last breath and see sweet misery. Oh, no one said that it'd be fair for you. So you don't have to notice me for now, 'cause I'll keep coming round. You know you're safe but not at the same. There's nothing in this town if no one's ever found. So here's to hoping soon you'll have to leave alone. See me creeping on the other side. See me creeping on the other side. See me creeping on the other side. While you talking away, I will pretend. See me creeping on the other side. See me creeping on the other side. See me creeping on the other side. See me creeping on the other side.
That is Animal Sun's brand new single and music video. You're going to be able to check it out like literally right after the show if you want to keep constantly putting it on repeat. I know it helps the boys out. It definitely rises them up on that Billboard charts. But that track was called Safe Not Sound. And I want to remind the listening audience that you're listening to the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show. And this is Strike a Chord, where if you physically or digitally pick up that record, you're going to know these tracks. And one of the coolest things, Steven, you've already been enlightening us on so much more than I anticipated in this interview today. You just gave us the announcement of the brand new album title for the new record, Generation Waiting. You've also just let us know that you are about to go into the 10th recording of the track today, which I find is just incredible. But my thing is, what have you noticed differently now about your artistic process compared to your time in the studio creating Echoes of a Dream LP?
To answer your question and also finish answering the question about Safe Not Sound, because I want to do both there because I didn't really give you the actual what it's about. We know what we want out of this record. The last record was like, okay, we found our sound with Girl in Blue. Let's make an album around it. Let's tell a story. This album was like, let's make something that feels timeless. Let's make something that speaks for an entire generation of people, haha, right? Instead of just like, let's make cool pop tunes, you know, with like an interesting story to make it feel more prolific, right? Safe Not Sound explores the darker, weird obsessions with like, you know, serial killers or dark, weird, malicious, you know, a lot of people watch shows like Dexter or Mindhunter.
I do. You're like, your album is exactly what I'm like, yes, and more, yes.
Or it's like a crime podcast if it had a visual representation.
I don't know why we're so obsessed with all this dark stuff, but like we are, so that's why I explored it. It might or might not end up on this record. It depends on how some music business things go down with who we've been talking to about releasing it. It'll either be 11 tracks with this song or it'll be 10 without it, the album. But
go with it.
Either way, still a bridge into the new era, and we just know what we want now, man. I mean, we know what we sound like.
No, it's funny that you're saying that though, Steven, because you guys have said that because I love your EP, but then you said last time, oh my gosh, that EP wasn't us. And I went, really? I think that's some of your best work. And then Echoes of a Dream came out. I really loved it. I love that you guys changed your sound. You guys weren't married to anything. And that's what gets me excited when I hear this new single, because you guys are constantly evolving. I think it's bad when bands consistently stick with that same sound, you know, LP after LP after LP. So like, what do you consider to be the most challenging aspect, you know, of composing music right now?
Completing like complete thoughts. So the reason why Echoes is more than something that we want to represent is because it feels so complete. It looks so complete. It's a complete thought. Generation Waiting is no different. It's exactly the same thing, but we're pushing the boundary and reinventing the wheel a little bit. So it's not as just like, oh, here's the copy paste job, as you say, of the last LP. It's like, let's take some of the darker rock elements, push the boundary, but you know, it needs to feel like a complete thing. Like when you're physically holding the record, when you're holding that vinyl and you're holding it and you're listening to all those tracks, you're like, it feels like you're going into a different universe. And that's
like how albums used to be in the 1970s and stuff, like where you had the whole entire album and there was a journey.
And the art catalog, everything that encompasses
the lyrics.
with the music. No, I think that's so cool. And Steven, like how does it work? I mean, especially when, you know, you got some of the CCS family out here, not everybody plays music today. So can you explain how you might compose a new piece of work?
Yeah. For me, a lot of it's based on feeling. I will listen to a lot of bands to get inspiration. But for me, a lot of it is there's certain rhythms that you can hear that the human being is just capable of hearing. And once you start exploring how you can push that boundary of like, you know, I don't care if you have any musical talent at all. You can pick up guitar and you play a couple notes, okay? After doing that for a few weeks, those couple notes turn into a melody and then a chord progression and then so on and so forth. So it's really about pushing that initial feeling you get from just experimenting. So if you want to write a song, you know, one of the things I learned was like, okay, go to the Billboard charts, pick your 3 favorite pop tunes or whatever genre it is, and then change the words to your own. And then
I like that.
And
I like that.
Like a
That's
good
so
writing
cool.
practice. I've never heard that before. I actually haven't heard of a method until like 3 years doing the Chris Collins show, and that's probably one of the more intriguing ones that I've heard today. But as you were saying this, and you even referenced even with Marissa, like, please put it on the record, put Safe Not Sound. But what happens if your composition is poorly received and bandmates and producers don't want to work with it? I mean, what do you do?
Well, that's kind of what those singles, Without You and Still Believe and Beginnings, like a lot of that was just us we put out Girl in Blue, and then we being told by A&Rs, you need to sound like this, you need to look like this. So we started throwing out all these things that weren't the band. And it wasn't until like we gained, complete control back of our project that Echoes came out, and now we're at 4 million plays and just went on tour and signed our first deal and blah, blah, blah. Right. So you got to understand that 99% of the time you're right. That hunch, that little pit you have in your stomach of, I should probably do it this way. Listen to that voice. Don't let anybody come in there and tell you you need to sound or look like this, because, they ultimately, they're usually not artists. And if they are, they could be telling you to change the one thing about yourself that would have made you unique and would have made you make it. Right. So if you listen to those people, you're just going to sound like everyone else.
And I think that's a beautiful message, and I think that's a great plug going into the next track that we're going to be playing from you. And this is Animal Sun's music video, Every Word, which you don't want to take every word literally. How funny did that work out? So we're going to be playing Every Word. This track is off their LP, Echoes of a Dream. You're hearing it now live on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show.
Stumbling from the bar, it's getting late. I've been drowning my heart just to feel that I'm sane. Taking it every time I play this game. I tell myself that I'm fine, but your whispers louder than the Arctic breeze, and I keep my thoughts buried inside of me. I bite my tongue when I think of you and me. When I think of you and me, every word you say, but I'll break from every move you make. I'll fake it when I can't relate to you. No wonder why I'm feeling down, 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 down.
Yeah, that's what's good. That is Animal Sun, and that's their music video, Every Word. But we're out of time, but I did want to give you guys, go see Animal Sun. They're going to be playing live tomorrow night. What's the venue that you guys are performing at?
Molly Malone's. It's in Fairfax. Doors are at 7. And it is almost sold out. There is barely.
You gotta act now.
They will not be available at the door. That's why, Chris, you gotta come.
That's why I gotta make it happen. Come on, let's get it.
Oh, Chris, you never go out. Go.
We'll see what's good. We'll see what's good. But Steve Blake.
9 o'clock tonight, they will be sold out. So if you're coming, buy them before 9 tonight. All right, Chris.
That's what's up. And go follow Animal Sun on social media. You're amazing, Steve. And we'll talk to you in the new year.
I love you guys. All right.
Peace. Love you too, man. Peace.
Thank you guys for having me.
This is What's Good, because there's so much negativity on channels 2 through 11. So Marissa and I, we like to break the mold and show you guys what's good. So a Dunkin' Donuts employee in Ohio recently received a huge surprise from one of her loyal customers, a fully furnished home. Employee Abani Johnson met customer Suzanne Burke at the drive-through window she was serving at 3 years ago. So when Burke found out that her acquaintance, a mother of 3, had fallen on difficult times and had been evicted from her home in Mount Healthy, Suzanne Burke made it her mission to help, reaching out to organizations that help people get back on their feet.
I can't wait to see it.
What awaits them? A home they can call their own that's fully furnished, something they haven't had in a while.
Thank you so much, Miss Susan, for helping me. I'm so happy.
The woman she's hugging made this all possible. Their friendship began 3 years ago at the drive-thru of Dunkin' Donuts. Johnson works there, and Suzanne Burke is a loyal customer.
I go every morning, and Ebony has worked the drive-thru for over 3 years. And really has just provided amazing customer service.
And the kids are just as excited as their mom.
So nice. So nice. Hey, this is our beautiful living room.
I'm just so thankful that we back in our own. The Lord really looked out for me because I kept praying and saying, could I be at home before Christmas?
And all I can say is there is hope for mankind when you see stories like this. I mean, what a beautiful story. So this is your friendly reminder that there's more good than evil in this world. And I want to thank all my active listeners for joining us every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, because without your support, this show wouldn't be possible. And also, huge shout out to comedian Marcus Hawkins and Stephen Blake for joining us during our time on Strike a Chord right there. That's so cool. We got one last episode. This is our season finale.
Who is our guest for our season finale?
I love this woman. I think what she's doing, the organization that she's created, it's a godsend for everybody out there who is thriving to be a part of the television, film, and theater experience. We have Just Talking guest Elizabeth Betsy Kim, co-founder of Gen Z Critics, going to be joining us next week for our season finale. And also, don't forget to check out our brand new podcast series called Off the Fret, featuring Royals as our second guest ever. More music talk. It's already got 5,000 plus views. So if you haven't seen it, you clearly have missed out on the party. So there's still time to get your foot in that door. And if you like what you're listening to, go to the ChrisCollinsShow.com and become a member today and get that free CCS t-shirt. For now, enjoy the weekend, fam. Peace. The Chris Collins Show presents Music Storm 2021, hosted by Chris Collins and Marissa Pitts, featuring Tiana Kutcher, Some Daggers Wear Red, Desmond Walker, Doulos, Saturn Till June, YT Will.
It feels good to be the bad guy. Walk these shoes, you'll see why. Look at things from both sides, ain't nothing like the
EC Main.
one thug, Lord, show a little mercy on one thug.
The Phoenix Within.
There's more weight in my words than you give me.
Chloe Wilder. Jonas and I. Kane. And Animal Sun.
So tell me how you see reasons to carry on.
Music Storm 2021. Available on YouTube Live. Peace. Our brand new podcast, Off the Fret.
I love it. It's more time to chat. Hello.
You would look so
Can you hear me?
jazzy.
I love your outfit.
How far would you go to start playing live music again? This slaps harder than my ex when she got her stimulus check. So,
are you here to bring the sexual healing with your music?
It's called Everything is Everything, and I guarantee you're going to hear this song in the future. I love the flow, man. Politically charged album. So if you get easily offended, this might not be the album for you. Brand new podcast, Off the Fret.
So excited.
Has Kim Kardashian accidentally sent you a coochie shot?
Do you want to stay there? It's completely your choice. Or you want to...
I feel you.
And you know what I love? Off the Fret. More music talk. Peace.
I'm better off alone.
What's good? I'm Chris from the Chris College Show, Millennial Talk Show. The Royals, the latest band smashing it in the UK on the Alt Press Top 10 UK Pop Punk Bands list, joins Off the Fret. More music talk.